And we are live. We are going to be talking about having those lovely money conversations before marriage. And I have to say, this is going to be toasty. If anything, I'm gonna have a good time because I like talking about these conversations that I had before I got into a relation. Even before we were getting in a relationship, before marriage. But anyway, I'm your host, Anthony. So let's go ahead on and get into the show.
Welcome to the About That Wallet Show, where building strong financial concepts, strategies, and behaviors has never been so easy to comprehend. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
Yeah, that was my short one. Oh, man. So, why in the world did I even pick this in the first place? It is because there's a lot of people out there dating. There are a lot of you out there who are trying to figure out, hey, this is the person that I want to go out with. This is the person I think I want to spend my life with. I think I should go ahead on and move on in without having a conversation about money. And the reason why we always in this situation, most of the time people in divorces is because they don't talk about money. They don't have the conversation about money. They have miscommunications about money. But because a lot of people have those miscommunications about money and you're talking about dating, you don't know what to do, always trying to figure out stuff. But you talk to your single friends, they don't got answers for you. And you trying to figure out, well, what in the world should I do about this person that I'm excited about? Do I go out and just talk about my life? I don't know. But I do have a lovely clip here that I want to share that I found on Black Love. I think this is part of the reunion. So if you guys are in the chat, please go ahead on and give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly, because I think I got all my volumes up. And for those of you who are joining by audio only, I do want to say that welcome. And for those of you who are listening on YouTube right now, I just want to say welcome as well, because we are going to have a wonderful time talking about relations and money. And I just had a little bit of alcohol as well, but we're doing wine today because it's classy. We're talking about relationships here. You got to have the ins and outs of enjoying the relations. So thank you, Philip or Mr. Kenny. So let's go on and hop on into it. If you already just joining, go on and give the thumbs up. Share this out to a couple folks that are watching right now so that we can go on and get this show going. All right. Let's see what we got here. We're going to do a small little clip here that I thought was interesting. All right, so you're not able to hear the clip. All right, let me see how can I fix that right quick. I have audio here. I can hear it on my end, but you guys cannot. Let me see. All right, let me try this and remove. Let's see. Edit name. Nope. Nope. Thank you guys for letting me know in the chat that you could not hear the audio. I'm up here thinking that y'all could hear it. It's actually pretty entertaining. I should have marked it off. Let's see. Got audio here. YouTube. Okay. Share my screen. Let's see. All right, let me see if I can remove it and try to add it back in. But thank you guys for keeping me in there. Let me try the audio again for the clip. And as you see, the stats here is actually pretty cool. So it's been watched pretty often. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that okay? Yes, no? Get the thumbs up. I know there's like a, oh my gosh. All right. Well, this sucks. I was hoping that it'll work. Boo. Why won't my stuff work? Microphone manage. Okay. Well, that sucks because I really wanted to play this audio for you guys. Well, anyway, what this guy, his god name is Duvall and Cardine Ellis. And what they were talking about is the fact of the matter is that in order to kind of maintain that marriage that he has, he actually want to follow the model of the people who are married, not the ones that are divorced and going through divorces and have been through so much. And with that, you know, you want to try to have those conversations. And so I'm coming to you for coming in at about 5 years in being married. And I have to say that one of the best things that I've ever done while we were dating was having these conversations. The first thing I said to her, like we were chatting, we met up on Tinder, we chat, then we got in person. When we got in person, that's when we started the money conversation started happening right then and there. Hey Carla, we got on Danielle. I felt so bad. I cannot remember who you are. Thinking about the name. Atlanta, thanks to you for coming through. So one of the things about having these conversations, these financial conversations early and upfront, was that we were able to talk about what it meant to us to have our finances in order. So for those of you who don't know, I actually did an episode with my wife. Obviously, you can't hear the audio, which sucks. I'm gonna see if I can remove the stream because I actually did this. Let's see, follow these steps, share audio box. Okay, so one of the things about having the ability to have these conversations early and upfront is that we were able to talk about the things that we love. And honestly, when I met my wife, well, then we were just dating. The very first thing I was telling her about was my student loans. I was like, I ain't got it. I got 100 at the time. I had $160,000 in student loans. Living on my own, just got out of a prior relationship and had credit card debt. I was like, look, I ain't say bro, but I pretty much could have said bro. Like, I ain't got it. This is what it is. Cause we don't have to make it work. If you want to continue this relationship, this is what I have. And I can only produce this at this time frame. And we had a mile walk because I chose a park specifically for the fact that if things didn't work out, and after I spilled my guts out about my finances and that I had my game plan and everything like that, and if she said no, I was out of there. I was like, all right, cool. I got my running gear. I was just going to trot on back to the car or then just run and cry in my car on the way home or something. I don't know what I would have done. I probably wouldn't have cried, but I probably would have got like a sandwich or something, and have a good time. Hey, Lay. So, these are the conversations when we had it. So, Carla, that's how Dorsey was. You know what? I'm gonna take on some phone calls. If you guys want to chime on in, have these open discussions because my audio isn't working, but I want to hear from you guys. So my phone number, if you want to call in, is 833-699-2558. And we can just have these live conversations right now about what are the things that you felt were helpful when you were dating, for those of you who are married. And for those of you who are not married, um, these are some of the conversations that I would like for you to have with your person that you're actually dating. So Carla says it was attractive that he was honest in what he was working on. Oh, that's really nice that he was actually, you're feeling that way. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's go with it. Aww. Because I really think that it's as honest as we are as guys and stuff like that. We feel that we always have to have everything in order. We always have to feel like we are the ones to bring in all the meat to the plate. And sometimes it's okay to sit back. It's okay that you can hang out. So you said repeat that number. Yes, Philip. So when you say the number, okay. Yep, it's 833-699-2558. If you want to go on and call on in. So the cool thing about it all is that oh, he brought the meat. I bet he did. He better did. So one of the beautiful things about having that conversation early on is that you already set the tone for the relationship. You like, you know what? I'm up front. This is where I'm at. These are the things that hold dear to me, and these are the things that I find the most value in. So when I was having those conversations, the first thing I was talking about was the loan because I was focused on paying off my debt. That is my goal. My goal was to get stable back to zero. But in my wife's case at the time, she was already debt free. So for her to still vibe with me with all of my debt, to say, hey, you know what? I can be there to support you and everything like that. That was actually pretty awesome. And at the time I was like, all right, well, we'll see how this goes. But also with these conversations, and the things that I want you to take away from my story is that one, you got to be upfront about your finances. You definitely have to have those conversations. Number two, as our relationship begin to progress, you have to think about it in your situation as well. Who is going to take on? I mean, should you start acting like you're married, even though you're not married? So I want to take on those conversations too, those questions. The reason why I asked that question is why you shouldn't mean while you should think about how you're going to play out these marriage duties while you're dating is that are you really taking this relationship serious? And people will think that. My understanding is to some degree, as most people will say, is that you're not married until you're married. And marriage is a business. I can tell you that for a fact. That you need to understand that marriage is a business. It's not something that you can just go ahead on and, oh yeah, we're gonna move in and get married. No, 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 no. If somebody said that hopefully y'all guys can hear me a little better now. If somebody decides to move in and they feel as though they just gonna run your house and do whatever. No. Y'all y'all need to set them boundaries early because one of the things about having somebody move in, now you start playing and start modeling that marriage behavior. What would it look like if you guys would actually get married? My story, for those of you who've been following me from the beginning, know that I moved in with somebody for over 6 years, and because of that, I obviously did not marry that person. But one of the lessons I got from that, and I actually tell everybody else, is that to make sure that you do not move in with somebody until you decide that you want to have that conversation. Hey, we got our first caller.
Grasshopper, call for.
Hello, how you doing? Who's this?
This is Philip.
Hey, Philip, how you doing today?
Good.
Awesome. So we actually talking about having those conversations before you're married. So how you feeling about it?
Mm-hmm. So I can give a little bit of a story on what happens when you don't have those conversations before marriage. So been married almost 9 years.
Congrats.
My wife and I, we didn't have. Thank you, man. We didn't have a ton of money conversations before marriage, as far as budgeting, that sort of thing. And we had a joint account. We didn't use it. And it was a disaster, an absolute financial disaster. We had tons of debt, and we didn't know who was spending what. It was an absolute mess. But I will say, whenever we got on the same page on money, also the joint account, having our paychecks going into a joint account and knowing what each other was spending, what bills we had, absolute game changer. So just a little bit of a cautionary tale that I figured I would share.
You gotta go a little bit more detail, man. I mean, that was like a little wash over. How did you feel about that?
Oh man, it was tough. Quite frankly, my wife was trying to get me to budget for a long time, like a hot minute. She was trying to get me to budget, and I was resisting. But eventually, I just got tired of being broke. And started listening to Dave Ramsey and some of the other big names in the personal finance arena. And then I finally came around, and I was trying to push it on her. And she's like, "Look, I've been trying to get you to do this for 3 years now." But we did finally get on the same page. And again, it's been an absolute game changer once we got on the same page and with our finances.
Awesome. Yeah, because that's one of the things that a lot of us don't have that open discussion about, which is taking that moment to find out what it is that our partner is trying to communicate to us. Now, my question to you is, are you the spender or the saver?
Oh, I'm the spender. I'm definitely the spender. I believe in retail therapy,
right?
And I cheap on little stuff, but I'll buy big ticket items. I'll go buy a car. Look, side story, about a month or two into marriage, I bought a brand new car, didn't ask my wife or anything like that. We'll never make that mistake again, but just to paint the picture.
You still married? Wow.
Yeah. She always jokes, anytime I go for a photo, it's don't come back with a new car. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I will not.
Now you're like, yeah, you better bow down to me when you get home.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Philip, I just want to say thank you for the phone call. I mean, is there anything else that you want to leave the people here today before you hang up?
Have the conversation.
Gotcha.
It's not always going to be easy. And, remembering that, finances are also can be a little on the emotional side. So, kind of reining in the emotional side to help with the behaviors that will, lead to being able to save money, investing, and all that good stuff.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Philip. Yeah, that was a great gem, Philip. So thank you so much. You have a good day, and please continue to watch, even though we're going to hang up here.
Will do. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right. No problem. Man, That was great. So the person I was about to call in, please go on and call in. Obviously there's a delay, so please go on and call back in. Whoever else was calling in. Now, one of the cool things about it, as you listen to Philip's story, and that there are so many other stories out there, you need to figure out what is your person's love language. Not really love language, but that money language. What is it that they have to offer?
Please.
I don't even know my voicemail number, so don't hate me. For the person that was calling in, please go on and call back in. I know you probably left a voicemail message, but I ain't gonna play the voicemail on you like that. But anyway, having those money conversations is very important. You need to figure out if you're the spender or the saver. That's one of the things that I would say that you both have to understand. Now, my wife said, she called it this way: somebody has to be the anchor, the other person has to be the balloon. And I thought about it. I was like, then which one am I? And she was like, you're obviously the balloon. I was like, really? Thanks. All right. Got another caller.
Grasshopper, call for.
Hello. Who's this?
Good evening. This is Mrs. Moore.
Hey, what up, Miss Moore? How you doing, Dave?
How are you?
I'm doing
Wonderful.
nice.
So I wanted to call in and piggyback off of Philip because I saw that he had a spender's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm calling from a saver's perspective.
Yeah, get both
Give me
sides.
some insight. Absolutely. Just to kind of give you an idea of where we sit. We've been married going on 7 years now.
Woo.
And I am, I'm the saver, and he's always been the spender. Going into our marriage, I asked a few questions, ran credit scores and everything because I was big on making sure we weren't in debt. I thought I was asking the right questions and doing the right things. I wanted to keep money separate originally, just because I wanted to see how it would transpire. And over the years, it was horrible. I continue to be the saver, and it seemed like every time you save, all of a sudden we have to bail out of debt because he keeps spending carelessly. And so here it is now at year 7. We finally got to a point where I'm like, look, the only way to make this work is I have to control it all because I don't know how else to fix it. We've hired financial advisors. We've tried to share business bank accounts, accounts in general. We've tried all that, and it doesn't work because a person who has not been taught to properly manage their money, I think it's deeper than just them spending. It's like a mental thing. And until that is taken care of and fixed, it's one of those things where they'll continue to make that same mistake over and over and over and over again. Now here we are again at year 7. It's one of those things where I'm like, look, until we can fix your internal state of why you can't stop spending, which I kind of have an idea from his upbringing. However, now it's like, all right, I'll continue to pay every bill out of one account that your money will go into. He doesn't have access to it. So what happens is if he wants something or after the bills are paid, I will then give him one of the credit cards that we have, and he can use that. And I hate to say it as an allowance, but as an allowance to spend on what he needs personally. So even if it's like him going to go buy a gift or a surprise or something like that, he can do that without me being able to track and watch to see what it is he's actually spending on. You try to keep some form of privacy, but it's my job to simply go in and actually pay that bill. And thus far, that has been working out very, very well. It doesn't necessarily fix the issue, of why he has the impulse to constantly spend. However, it stops from creating more debt because I'm the one that's in control of all the money. And I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to make it work. And you have to find new creative ways to help your spouse or your partner. You can't just leave them, in the broke by themselves. I live debt free and I still do.
Nice.
but it's a team effort. And so if he's in debt, then that means eventually his debt's going to be my debt. So we got to fix it.
Yes.
And that was, my way of trying to figure it out.
And that's one of the things that I love about personal finance is that you get to keep it personal. You coming in from the saver side and understanding like, hey, we got to combine. And under this combined rule, I'm the ruler. It's like,
well, and something, the thing is like, if his spending habits were better, it would be completely fine for both of us to have full access to it. But I know where his weakness lie, and so does he. And we both mutually agree the way it has to work would be I'm just the person who's responsible for it. I have to be the person to do it because I'm better at managing. I'll tell you something. Him being a spender helped me learn how to not be so tightly kept with my money. I used to not buy myself stuff at all because I felt like, no, I want to save all my money just in case there's an emergency. I was the over saver and the one who couldn't enjoy the fruits of my labor because I wanted to save. But when you die, that money ain't going with you. It's going to get passed down, or, someone else is going to enjoy it. And that's nice and all, but don't you want to enjoy the fact that you worked super hard to make that money and that you did save it? It's okay to spend it sometimes. It's okay to enjoy it. So he helps kind of balance me out in that aspect, but we both have a full understanding. I have to control the money. It is the only way to make this work.
That is amazing because for me, one of the things that I am more the spender, but one of the cool things about it is that we kept everything completely separate and we don't have any combined household finances. So that's how we do ours. And it's good to hear that somebody...
We had it separate, but you know what happens?
What?
If you don't stay on top of the other person, they start to create debt, and then they go into this world of, oh no, they're ashamed, or they don't want you to know that they've created more debt, and or you think that they're doing fine, only to find out now they have collection letters. So in order to, avoid any of those possibilities, we had to come to a mutual agreement. And it's just what happened to work for us, I've seen so many different things happen, especially with other couples, my parents being one of them, where it really ruins their marriage and their relationship. And it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's what works for your family. So I say do whatever is working for your family, even if it means sometimes, outsiders may look in and think, why would you let the person control? Look, that's the person who's taking care of all the bills, but it's my money that's actually doing it, meaning his money is taking care of the bills. Our money is taking care of the bills. It's just, I have to be the one to do it.
I had to commend you on that one for taking on that role. Cause it's a lot. And and when I first started retail, that was the first thing that the person that was teaching me, the supervisor, was saying is that though you have a couple in there together, you have to talk to the wife. The wife is the one that controls the purse. And I was like, why? And then I started seeing it every day, and I was like, I ain't talking to you. Where your wife at?
It's, really, how they say, like, the man is the one who leads the household. I feel like, in some situations for us, 110%, he leads. And I love the fact that he leads and I am able to follow him. We just both know our strong suits, and money and spending is not his. So I take over and I help out in that area in order to pick up where he's weak, and he picks up where I'm weak. I don't like doing laundry, and he does all the laundry. So
nice.
I'm picking. No, really, it's true. But it's just, it's one of those things. You got to do what works best for your marriage, And I thought I would get on and share, considering it's something that actually, we dealt with for many of years and finally have a hold on.
That is amazing. So I'm going to give you a round of applause for you and him for making it, just first off, 7 years. And then secondly is to finally get that budget under order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming through. All right, you have a good one.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, man. So you just heard from two different types of people. You heard from a saver. You heard you heard from a saver who's been saving and had to take ownership because the money started creeping into the other side. It started hurting that other person because they didn't have that control. They needed that communication. You need that your yin to your yang. You know what I'm saying? That yin to your yang. And that's what we need to hear and talk about, because that's the whole point of marriage. Well, the whole point of a relationship really is the give and the take and the share and the divide of the activities. And one of those things is that we need to take a moment to really appreciate is how far we've come with our finances and so forth. So debt-free dad, what's going on, Marcus? Let's see. My biggest money mistake was taking pre-marriage finances into the marriage. Do what works for you, but combined is better. It's ours. Okay, so instead of a split up, it's ours. And then he further on says, leaders know how to delegate authority to those who are capable. That is true. So Marcus, that is one thing that in the relationship, but also if you think about it, when it comes to leadership, you can delegate to those who are capable, but sometimes they might be capable, but they might not do it the way you like it, So, you know what? It's actually 8:30. So y'all know what time it is. Please make sure y'all have y'all glasses. Mine is empty. I had it halfway full. I'm a half full kind of guy, not a half empty. So you know what time that is. It's time to have some drinks. And hopefully you guys got y'all drinks ready to go, because I want to give a little toast to those who've been enjoying their relationship and enjoying their journey into a relationship. For those of you who are just joining in, y'all are single or dating. So let's go. All right, I think I got my grown and sexy music on. Let me see if I can find it. Because, it's been a while since I played this song, but I really like it for some reason. Because, it's like, let's have a little fun time with your money. And because your money is not funny if it ain't bringing you more money. So what I'm having today is just wine. I could actually finish this bottle. It's actually not that strong of a drink. But this is called the Black Girl Magic, the red blend. If I can show you guys. And on the back of this, this is California 2019. And let's see, it's only 13%. Usually what I'm drinking is 70%. So this is just like water. What are you guys drinking out there today? Because y'all know what it is. We're gonna have some drinks. All right, they say opposite attract. I believe it. Yes, Miss Moore, you're so right. Okay, and you said here, I feel sharing an account is great, but only when both parties are decent at managing their money. When it's not equal, yoked, it leads to big trouble. Yes. You are so right on that one. We gotta give you the air horns on that one, because I was get that all out there, because right there is that you need to make sure that everybody's on the same page. All right, so I know I have this one is actually running a little bit all over the place, but I want to make sure that you guys are getting this. For those of you who are dating and you have yet to have that money conversation with the person you love and enjoy, and that you really want to start taking this to the next level, I need you to start thinking about, first off, Are they a spender or are they a saver? Ask them that question. You can ask them straight up front. Hey, this is what we're going to do. This is where we feel as though we need to have this conversation. Secondly, start talking about your dreams. What are your financial goals in life? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? These are the things you need to start talking about. Thirdly, you need to start talking about prenup. Again, we said prenup. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. We said prenup. Kanye West said, we want prenup. We want prenup. Yeah. You got to talk about it. If they feel some kind of way about this prenup, more than likely it's not for you. Because the prenup is there to protect you. It's like insurance. It's like having a car accident. Hey, you get car insurance, right? You don't hope you get into an accident, but in case you get into an accident, you have it there. And divorces are just as frequent as an accident because attention, like, look at celebrities. They get married and divorced within a matter of weeks, if not even months even. And you'd be surprised for the ones who actually stay together for more than 10 years. It's really rare. But things happen. Even if you're currently married, you can still get a post-nup. I'm actually planning on getting a post-nup later on this year. So going through that process is actually awesome. As the lady I had on my show, we talked about this. I'm gonna try to get this audio because I really want to play this audio. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I'm gonna share my screen, blow this up. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Typically, people tend to confide in people who just want to agree with their point of view.
Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if y'all heard that, or just say yes or no, just something. I really want to play this clip because I can hear it. I think it's about like 60 on here. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, sweet. All right, so we in there. We in the money. All right, let's go. I had to follow some instructions, so let's go. What? My wife's in the chat. Why is she in the chat? All right, let's go. This is Black Love.
So then you end up getting you end up getting the yes people or nah, you shouldn't do that or you shouldn't put up with that. And it's like you can't listen to single people about married people issues. Like that's just not, it's just not gonna work. So I for one want to stay married. So I listen to people who have stayed married and who I know have gone through trials and tribulations, because everybody goes through trials and tribulations. People always want to make it seem as if like, oh, if your marriage is not perfect or if it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look on TV, then you're just in a bad marriage. And that's just not the case. And I mean, and just to address the elephant in the room, which is always cheating. People always want to talk about cheating and stuff like that. Every married relationship that I know or that I know have gone over 30, 40, 50 years, someone has cheated. Whether it's a man or a woman, there's no only men cheat or only women cheat. It just depends on how you deal with what happens or what's the reason for it. And the reason why I bring that up is because I was guilty of stepping out, and it was before I was married, and I was going through my worst, and it was a lot of times where I felt like, damn, do I even want to be married? Like, do I want to be married? And I'm thinking to myself, is my marriage just going to be based on just sex? Like if marriage to me is I can't have sex with nobody else, so I'm going to be married to this person, then I don't need to be married. And then when I was going through my worst, it was what we just talked about, I realized how much more I valued being with someone else. And it makes you realize how little sex is in a marriage. Like, people always want to put sex on the forefront of a marriage. But I'm telling you right now, people, until you've gone through the worst of the worst and you have somebody with you, you really start to realize how unimportant sex is. And I will be the first person to tell you, man, everything that I've gone through in my life, If I didn't have a soulmate right here next to me, I wouldn't have made it.
So I just want to share that because that is very powerful and very understanding. Is that, you know, every person's marriage isn't going to look the same. We have Miss Moore on here. We have Philip on here. 2 different marriages, well over 5 years. And I'm just hitting my 5th year. And my wife's in the chat. So I'm not sure if she's still listening, but it'll be interesting. So we had Marcus says in here, you can't listen to married people either. If you don't have children or have been married for less than 8 years, I don't want to hear your advice. I'm just saying. So my wife Lindsay is actually in the chat, so she's still here. Now, one of the things that Marcus, you're hilarious, dude. I greatly do appreciate your advice here. It's great. Because one of the cool things I like about having this conversation about marriage and finances is that you have to first off have that conversation. You have to be open to the situation that's at hand, and being able to have that, I guess you could say, not the boast of energy, but you want to have that confidence in yourself that you have what it takes to make this marriage the way that you want it to be done. And if you're not happy during the dating phase, you're not going to be happy during the marriage phase. And I've seen and heard multiple times that people change when they get married. And from what I've seen, I have to say that it is really weird. So this is a clip from my wife and I. Again, this was before I was doing video. Okay, don't judge me. But this was episode 31, season 1. So long ago, you guys. It's almost like back in 2020. Hey, Patrice. Thanks for coming through. Yes, communication is key. It is the number one reason why a lot of people get divorced. It's number one reason why a lot of people don't like each other is because they don't understand that communication piece. Man, Mark is really 16 years. Congrats. That is definitely worthy. Man, if you get a chance, please call in, because I actually do want to hear what was your story and how you actually, not even your story, but what was the number one thing that kept you guys going? Because I know you talk about that a lot, and I know you go live. I'm pretty sure you're not going live now, but you're always around, dude. But yeah, call in if you can. I'd love to hear your story. But I'm gonna play a clip from the episode my wife and I had back in 2020 about finances, and when we were combining households. Hopefully I got the right starting point. I might go back a little bit, just see where we at.
In a civil ceremony, I think originally our plan was we'll get married like on a Wednesday or Thursday and then have our reception the following Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the original plan.
Yes.
So that people can celebrate. And then at the actual ceremony, we had only planned to have our immediate families. So like my parents, your siblings, and that's it. And then at the reception, then we have our extended family, friends, etc.
So this part was what we were talking about as far as getting our planning the whole marriage. And this is one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is the finances about getting married. And I've heard multiple times, I think there was a clip, I need to find that clip, but where the guy was saying it's like he's not going to spend $250,000 for a clip. Hey, we got our third caller for the day.
Grasshopper, call for extension.
Hello. Welcome to the About That Wallet show. Who am I speaking to?
What's good, man? This is Marcus, DSD,
Hey.
man. I wanted to just chime in. Since you said call in, I had to call in, brother.
Thank you, man. Marcus, you're the man, sir. I love what you're doing out here. I know you're local, but man, we definitely got to catch up in person, man. How's everything?
Definitely, bro. Hey, man, I'm good, man. Blessed, man. How everything going with you, fam?
It's going. I'm about to hit 5 years. I'm celebrating you now, I guess, with your 16 years. So it's awesome.
Okay. Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. And definitely 5 years is a big deal, man. I mean, hey, that's everybody journey to what that couple defines as a good marriage is just that, a journey, man. So that 5 years is definitely worth being celebrated, bro.
Thank you. So what was it? So first off, I gotta ask this question: are you the spender or are you the saver?
I'm probably the saver in the household. I like to stack up the coins, man.
Got to say, the wife is the spender.
Yeah, definitely.
What is the wildest thing that she ever went out and spent on?
I guess I would say I'm lucky because she's not I really don't get mad at her spending because she's one of those women who she likes buying things for the house. So it's really hard for me to wow out or complain about something that's making my living situation a lot nicer. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be different than if she's going out buying the latest purse or something like that. But she really likes buying household things. So, every holiday, it's small, but it's weird, but it's just what she does. Every holiday, the dining room has a completely different design and a completely different design setup. And every year it changes. What we had for this Thanksgiving, damn sure won't be up there next Thanksgiving. So, but she likes household stuff, man.
Nice. So what was that key thing that kept your marriage going for 16 years? Because a lot of people are just so happy right now for you in the comments are saying come on, it's 16 years.
I always think, and it's funny because I actually did a video with a homegirl of mine, and they were talking about who wins in a marriage. And, any healthy marriage, both people are going to win. It's going to be beneficial to the male. It's going to be beneficial to the female. I think for me, the sooner we realize, I feel like a lot of people have this romanticized view of what marriage is. You know what I mean? And the sooner that we realize, the sooner for us to realize that a few things. One, that romanticized view is a short-lived feeling. That feeling occurs, in those first few years before you have kids. You know what I mean? You still have those moments where your spouse walk in the room and your eyes get big and you get butterflies in your stomach. But that's just an emotional feeling. I think the biggest thing for us was respecting the evolution of each person. And, I can remember early on, the person you are today is going to be different from who you are 3 years. And it's your wife, your spouse's responsibility. It's your spouse's responsibility to make that adjustment and vice versa. Whatever she likes today, she may not like a year from now, but you have to make those adjustments to deal with that new person who you're in that relationship with.
Right. Man, that is amazing, dude. I will be looking forward to your book if you decide to write one.
Hey, I'm sure your first 5 years are a lot better than my first 5 years. But those first 5 years, man, my daddy was terrible for me, bro. I would keep it a buck, man. I don't like the lollygag around, boy. Those first 5 years, bro. Woo, so it's good that we can look back and see all the madness and all the BS. But I think that's the thing, man. The only marriage that works is two people who are committed to making it work. I feel like people just walk away from things so easy, and it's just like you said in that clip. Every couple I talk to who's been married for 60 years. If infidelity is something that's a deal breaker, hey, God bless you, but couples who've been married 60 years, most of the ones I talk to, they've had to deal with that. They had to make those types of maneuvers, you know what I mean, and learn. And I know a lot of couples who learn from that and have stronger relationships. And I could speak for that personally, even within my own relationship. So,
yeah, I think back then it was a little easier because you didn't have that constant communication. So
right.
now it's like,
I
hey,
definitely agree.
Now, do you think social media plays a bad presence in marriages at this time?
I don't really think so. It's back in the day, it was somebody probably going to the pool hall, you know what I mean, and doing something they had no business. Now it's somebody on the app and somebody's DM, man. People are gonna, if someone wants to do bad, they're gonna do bad. I don't care if you got them in an igloo in Siberia, they'll find a way to do bad. So I don't really think social media is, I guess for accessibility standpoint, maybe, but it's kind of like people with rings, you know what I mean? I've never been most times if you see me, I may not have my ring on, not because I don't care, but hey, I take it off when I get in the house. I may be fooling around with my motorcycle. I done dropped rings inside of cars when I was working on them and all sorts of crazy stuff. So, whether a person has a ring or not, whether they got a social media or not, if someone's going to do good, they're going to do good. If they're not going to do good, there's nothing that's going to stop them from making that bad decision, in my opinion.
See, I wasn't even going to get into that part because that's a whole nother topic. To wear the ring or not wear the ring, and does it matter? Because I don't wear the ring unless me and my wife go out for like a special occasion. But most of the time, it's not being worn. And we can go to another topic. I mean, Marcus, you and I could talk money all day. So, the price of rings, are they worth it? Like, what's wrong with the Amazon $35 ring? Like, nobody gonna ask you.
Yeah, I actually put up a poll on the channel one day because I saw a video and this lady said that the ring should be, I think she said 3 or 4 months worth of a man's pay. And I was like, that lady crazy.
3 or 4 months?
Someone's pay? That's insane.
What?
Yeah, and she said that was like she said that was the standard, 3 or 4 months. So I put a poll up because that was the first time I heard of that, and that was actually a old time theory that the ring should cost 3 or 4 months of salary. All of that stuff don't make a difference, man. Like for me, I guess I was fortunate in the regard that me and my wife got married when we was really broke as hell. So the ring I got was the best that she was going to get. Like, hey, it's a slight upgrade from a Cracker Jack ring,
Like, hey.
So if I don't think
it is what you're gonna get.
I don't think that the dollar amount of those things are what's important. Because I mean, like I said, I'm sure some balling NBA dude who got a girl a $2 million ring, but if he treat her like crap, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
That is true. Nia from Perspectives Financial. Yeah. So she was up here and said it used to be the standard. So that 3 to 4.
I don't know.
Yeah, fraction of the cost. Like, one of the cool things, my wife is in the chat too. So she was like, for me, I was already broke anyway. So I was like, hey, what you want? It's like, there's no secret. Like, I proposed without a ring. I was like, I don't know what you want. Like,
right.
So I mean,
but I feel like it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying I feel like is part of it is the growth. That first ring I got you was kind of like is it even a diamond in that mud? Then in the courthouse wedding. But as we grew as a couple, as we grew personally, as we grew economically, hey, when we did our vow renewal ceremony, when it was time to do it, hey, we was Turks and Caicos, nice custom ring, all of that stuff. But we paced ourselves because statistically, like the more money people spend on weddings, the higher the rate of divorce is. And the reason behind that is because a lot of people go into debt to get the rings and pay for the ceremony and kind of do all of that stuff. So we took a much more structured approach to just how we deal with, rings and ceremonies and when we can upgrade and do something a little bit better.
Yo, you have a moment for this one clip? I'm about to play the clip that been going around for quite some time. About that lady that wanted like $250 wedding. It's like,
yeah. I talked about that.
Right. I know you did. All right, hold on.
I deserve to be somebody's wife.
$250,000. $200,000. The type of wedding you want, that's how much it costs. You're bugging the We're going to invest that. My job as a man is to hold the household down, and she hasn't worked in years. I'm not spending $250,000 on a wedding. I'm not doing it.
So you have no plans on getting married?
I have plans on getting. Let's go to City Hall.
I'm not a.
Hold on. How's she yelling? I'm not a city. Like the energy that she put up behind it. Hold on, let's go.
I'm not a City Hall. Stop saying City Hall because shit about to get left. Like I'm telling you right now.
At the end of the day, I love you more than life itself. But you gotta be easy with all this.
Love ain't enough. How long you plan on being broke?
No, I don't like we're broke. Out your mouth. That's not broke.
Too much.
That's smart.
Broke people behavior.
That's smart. All right. Listen, you call it broke. You know what I'm saying? Leave and see what your gonna be.
All right, look. So the energy behind, that is crazy. The energy behind, I can't.
I mean, regardless of bro's situation or whatever, that dude better run for the hills, man.
Yes.
If no bigger red flag than the way that she's acting, and I was interested to know because I'm a hip hop guy. My son makes music and makes money streaming it on Spotify, so I'm pretty hip to going on. So I was like, who is this guy? So of course I looked him up. And I was interested to know what his net worth was.
Mm-hmm.
His net worth, they had listed at about $650,000. I'd give him a bump up to $1 million.
Right.
If you got $1 million net worth, it's insanity to spend for one day a quarter of your net worth. That's crazy.
Yo, I'm about to choke.
That's insane.
I was about to choke on my wine. Like, what? Who in their right mind would spend a quarter of their net worth for a wedding?
Yeah. He needs to get the hell. He needs to run for the hills on that one. And I think he said in the article I saw, she doesn't even work. She stays at home. I'm like, come on, yo, really? And I give him credit too, because he did exactly what I would have done. Because hey, I'm a person who I kind of give the energy that I get. He said if she was actually been tactful and said, "Hey, let's do $250,000," he probably would have said, "You know what? Nah, that's too high. Let's come for a different amount." No, he went to, that's too much. I'm not paying that. She went to extreme, so I went to extreme. You want 250,000? I want zero.
I want zero, right? Because the courthouse is only $35. It's $35.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's crazy, man. But it is actually a common thing for a lot of people. I've seen and been to weddings where people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on weddings, and 6 months later, I'll tell you right now, if I spend $250,000, I'm not letting you divorce me. No, you're not divorcing me until I pay this off. We're gonna be miserable together.
Right. Both gonna be sitting there like debt collector. We ain't got it.
Right. Hey, I do got something I wanted to bounce off of you.
Yeah.
This always gets good traction when we talk about it on that channel, right?
Yep.
And I actually did a video on it. Now, both are terrible. Okay, we talk about infidelity in a relationship is a terrible thing to deal with, but it's not something that you can't overcome. Now, on the other hand, you got financial infidelity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, someone asked me that, and the topic was, which one is the one that's more difficult to get over? And the scenario was, it was a lady who called into, I think it was the Ramsey show, and this was the fact pattern. You know, during the pandemic, they had the moratorium where people didn't have to pay their mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the wife filled out the paperwork so that they could qualify for this mortgage moratorium so they didn't have to make payments. Now, instead of her husband, unbeknownst to her husband, he's still giving her the money to make the payments. He's not saving it. He's just spending it. In addition to just spending the mortgage payment for 12 months, she also racks up an additional $20,000 in credit card debt. And all this comes to a head when the mortgage payments resume. And he like, what in the world? What is this letter about this moratorium? Where's the money going? And so, you know, the question is, which one of those, infidelity in a relationship or financial infidelity, what do you think is the easier to get over? Because I'm telling you right now, if the options were, hey, my wife has a 6-month gambling problem or 6 months affair, hey, I'm gonna be like, go ahead, do what you need to do with Night Heat or whoever it is. Because a 6-month gambling problem, you could be homeless.
Yeah.
I think the financial infidelity is the more difficult one to get over because there's still the lack of trust.
Yeah.
But depending on how egregious it was, it changed your lifestyle immediately. Like you could be eating ramen noodles because of a financial infidelity situation. Versus if I'm upset that you slept with me, but at least our retirement's not in jeopardy. At least we're not in debt now. So what are your thoughts? Which one of those is the most difficult to overcome, in your opinion?
Because I've been through both. So financially, it was tough for me to get out. It took me years to get through.
Right.
But as far as the cheating side of the house, it took me a couple months. So
right.
You know, that I'll have to say from my experience, the financial infidelity is a lot harder to get over than the affair.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I want to say hi to a couple folks that just joined right quick. So we got Eric. Thank you for joining, sir. Nia, thank you always for coming through. And then V, thank you for coming through. So greatly appreciate you guys. And V actually says on here, the affair sounds better. Now, are you the one doing the affair?
He was me.
Right.
I don't care. Like the only way. This is my perspective.
Okay.
This is what I said. If I was 19 or 20 and I got married real young and I don't have much, because I don't have anything to lose, I will value the infidelity would hurt me harder because I can't rationalize losing $20,000. I ain't got $20,000 to lose, so who cares? You know what I mean?
Right.
I said, but man, once you done built it, if somebody said your wife sends your emergency fund behind your back, or she having an affair for 3 months, I'm gonna be like, be safe.
Be safe. Deuces. Watch it.
Keep it a buck, man. I agree with him, man.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So Marcus, I got your show displaying right now. I'm not sure if you're watching at the same time we're talking, but can you just give everybody a quick rundown who you are and where they can follow and catch up with you?
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Hey, my name is Marcus. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Debt Free Dad, IG, Official Debt Free Dad. And the whole content I'm doing is following my family's financial freedom journey. We've been at it since 2020 we started. We paid off over $200,000 of debt. Also talk about current events, and I also do attorney reaction videos to things that are trending that may have some newsworthiness. So, Hey, I appreciate you having me on the platform, brother, and letting me get a chance to bless your audience as well.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming through. As always, I know we keep catching each other on the passing, and I'm glad you were able to call through on this one. So thank you so much, man.
Hey, no problem, brother. We definitely gonna do something live together, man. You take care.
Definitely. All right, man. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Oh man, so that was amazing, guys. I know we like 5 minutes over. So again, if you guys ever have any questions or stuff like that when it comes to dating and finances, we talked to a saver, we talked to a spender, we talked all over the place about when it comes to dating, making sure that you have that communication piece under wraps. You need to make sure that what you're getting into is something that you plan to get into in the long term. You need to decide before you even move into the same property that this person is moving into, is that, do you plan to marry this person in the long run? Do you plan on spending the rest of your life with this person? These are the things that I highly recommend that you all talk about, especially when it comes to prenups. You need to talk about the prenups because those are very important. And I just recently talked about, had a guest on my show who talked about prenups and the fact that the importance of them. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now so y'all can hear about it, because I really want to make sure that you all get this information. If you haven't heard it yet already, I highly recommend you guys.
I like prenups because I like to say that they are an agreement about how you're going to split up. And it's nice to make that agreement while everybody is happy. So we can agree on, listen, if we split up, here's what would happen with the furniture in our household. Here's how we're going to decide who gets what. Or, so if there's something that is to be argued about that you're deciding ahead of time, you're making agreement, this is how it's going to work out. So I like that we can outline that ahead of time before people have hurt feelings and things like that.
So that was a clip from season 3, episode 34. What? My mom actually made it awesome. Everybody's in here. This is great. So my mom's here. My wife's here. Got my friends. This is actually an awesome show, you guys. I'm so thankful that you guys are actually here supporting the show. Even though I'm going over the hour time frame, but it really makes my day to actually see and hear from you all, because especially when it comes to this particular topic around marriage and finances. Hey, Eric, yeah, you're right. We want prenup. Yeah. So shout out to Kanye on that one. Yes, Eric, you're right. We want prenup. The beauty of having that conversation with she is a forensics she's a forensics accountant. And the beautiful thing about having a forensics accountant is that she was talking about the impacts of a marriage in the divorce process. So these are the things that's happening after you already divorced. So that means that there's a lot that happened before you even get to that level, to the point where you're actually tired of the person that you're with to say, you know what, this ain't working. She is the one that goes out there to find the money. Granted, she finds some money on like businesses and so forth, but her focus right now is for the people, especially women, who are going through divorce and finding out that they don't know anything about the finances. Now, we had Danielle on the show, Miss Moore, when she was talking about how she's the saver in controlling the finances. But I'm sure her husband is also lockstep in that process. When it comes to understanding doing it on your own, that's a whole nother situation. So when I had this conversation with Miss Tracy Conan, she was talking about how the women are usually left out of the conversation when it comes to the finances. So when it's time for divorce, they don't know anything about the finances. And that is detrimental to the wife in that particular instance. Now, she also talked about for the wife that doesn't work, and because the husband upgraded the lifestyle, they are actually able, there's a possibility, I would say that. Again, this is just going through, you need to watch this episode. But she does talk about there's a possibility that the wife could actually get 75%. You usually hear that the wife should only get 50%. And for those of you who are just joining, if you see my phone number coming across the screen, you can always call in. I'm always open to have this conversation. But understanding those finances and having those open discussions is the most important thing that you could ever do inside a relationship before you decide to say, you know what, we want to combine households. We want to make things together. We want to take this to that next level. Marriage is a business, so treat it like one. Divorce, if it wasn't like a business, then when you go to divorce, you could just say, hey, we're done. That's it. Go to court, documents. All right, cool, we're done. But because you got assets, then you got to start talking about assets. Now you start talking about the profit and loss statements. Now you need to start talking about who has what, who's getting this and who's getting that. That's why you want to have the prenup. If you're not familiar with the prenup, now start talking about having a postnup. Me and my wife, Lindsay, thank you. Yes, with the 100%. So now that we talked about this and we actually in a good place, we can have that open discussion about our postnup, because we were actually talking about having a prenup before we actually got married, but things happen. And so now that we actually in a good spot, now we can start taking it to the next level. So having that conversation about, you know, how we want to split up the assets in case for any reason that we ever decide to get a divorce. We know what it is. And to be fair, we never in a bad. That is true. My wife says, to be fair, we were never in a bad place. No, we never had a bad place, which I think is amazing after 5 years of marriage. And I think we've known each other for about 6 years. So it's a lot. But honestly, you need to have these discussions. For those of you on the chat, if you just want to ask my wife anything, please do. She might answer. I don't know. I can't answer for her. But one of the things that I have to say that one of the things is that you want to talk to your parents. If they're married, have that conversation. If they're not married, have that conversation, because you need to know what are the questions or what are the things that are wrong in that conversation that you're having right now, in that relationship that you plan on having in the future. You need to take that moment, because you're going to feel like you're living your best life. This person is having those same dreams that you are. And then you find out that they're not. And that's one of the things that I do not want for you. So V, you said, all I know is that if marrying someone, my prenup is before my vows. I love it, V. V, you're on it. You're a smart dude. Greatly appreciate. Hey, we got a phone call. Who we got?
Grasshopper, call for.
Hello. Welcome to the show, to the About That Wallet podcast show. Who is this?
This is Lindsay.
Hey, what up, Lindsay? My wife. Woo. Let me see if I got a applause somewhere. I know I got applause. Hold on. Yay, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I appreciate the applause.
So, what's up?
I was calling to chime in on your prenup and postnup and getting on the same page discussion, since I am married to you.
Okay.
Thought it might be good for us to have the conversation together.
Alrighty then. So now that we are talking about the postnup side of the house, you care to discuss on your thoughts and feelings about the postnup? Because usually most people have like that, oh, you think we're going to get divorced immediately and blah, blah, blah. So what were your thoughts about the prenup initially?
it made good business sense because, as you said, marriage is a business. But what's interesting is that I had relatives in my ear kind of reinforcing that. People who had been married and divorced and didn't want to see me make the same mistakes, saying, well, you need to make sure all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed. And I was like, you don't have to worry about me because I saw what happened with my own parents, so I wasn't operating under any illusions that there isn't a business aspect to the marriage. Of course, I love you, but realistically, you have to. Oh.
Nice. Yeah, because going through the prenup process, and we never fully went through it. So going through that postnup process that we also thinking about, what would that what are your thoughts on that?
The same as my thoughts on the prenup. Is it V or Vi?
V is V.
V. We fully intended to have a prenup before we got married. And I think in that same episode of Combining Households, the thing that happened was that we ended up getting married sooner than we planned. And by sooner, I mean 6 months sooner, because my dad was very ill and I wanted him to see me get married. And then in the aftermath of us getting married and my father eventually died, I had a lot of handling of his business to attend to, among other things. And so the prenup or the postnup, I should say, at that point kind of got pushed to the side. But we actually were just talking about postnup this past weekend, which I'm all for.
Woo!
I don't have any kinds of I don't have any kind of feelings about it, really.
Right. So Jamal just entered the room as well.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamal.
What up, Jamal? Brother Brown from the Brown Town. Brother Darkness, as we call him. So one of the things about the postnup that I actually do enjoy having a conversation with you is that we actually get to have that wonderful discussion of what do we want to keep for ourselves to be selfish, and then I don't think we want to give up anything. So I don't honestly, we can just, I don't care. So Jamal says hello, by the way, Lindsay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure where you're watching this on your laptop. Okay, you keeping up. All right.
I'm on my laptop. And I'm talking to you on my phone.
Picking up what you're putting down. I got you.
I'm keeping up with the chat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, we got the whole family up in this joint. That's great. So yeah, having that post-nup discussion now is one of the beautiful things that I like about our relationship is that we're really open about our finances, and we're open about how we feel about each other and about the things that we have. Like, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. And I don't know what else to say. It's like it's that simple.
And then the other part of it is we're both pretty practical people.
Mm-hmm.
We usually tend to go for what makes sense over what feels good at the time, I suppose.
Right.
So, but because we're both that way, it seems like there's less of chance that somebody is going to feel a way about bringing a new legal document to the marriage 5 years down the road.
Right.
But as you've mentioned, I'm sure a bunch of times before, like you started off talking about money to me. So it's not anything unusual.
Yeah, and because we had that open discussion about finances from the beginning, and we constantly talk about finances like here and there, but it's not like all the time anymore. It's a lot easier. So V has a question. Says, why do you think there seems to be a stigma against prenups?
You want to answer it?
No, I'll
Or do
let you
want
go
me to
first.
answer it?
I'll let you go first.
I think because in, I would say, the greater American culture, marriage is not looked upon as a business arrangement, which we all know it is, or a means of expanding or protecting assets. And instead, it's kind of, wedding focused and romance focused and feelings focused. So when people go into that kind of relationship with a legal document behind them saying this is what happens in case we break up, it's no longer romantic. And so people tend to want to bury their heads in the sand about the possibility that their marriage won't last for the rest of their lives, when the reality of the situation is most don't. So I think that's probably why there's a stigma, at least in the United States. I can only speak for this culture, but I think that's really what it's about. Obviously, people who are like really high net worth individuals probably don't carry that stigma because they have a lot more to lose. But for the general masses, I think that's what it is. Romance kills the romance.
Yeah, and my take on it, definitely agree with yours to that degree, is that from that aspect. But to add on to it is that, people already have like this, what they call it? I would say this negative connotation towards prenups, thinking that you're already predicting that there's going to be a divorce. Like you're not planning to be inside a relationship long term. And because of that, it's almost like bad juju or bad feelings or bad vibes because somebody wants to get a prenup. So I personally, I would just say, like, just have that open discussion. Be like, right up front, like, how do you feel about prenups? And if they give you an answer that you can live with, then go with it. But if you strongly feel that you need one, I highly recommend that everybody get one before they decide to marry, because one, it will open up the discussion about the finances. Two, it would actually help you align your finances a little bit better, meaning like how do you protect yourself in your financial situation in case things don't work out. Three, I can't count. So whatever the next one is, you get to really think about what are you really getting into, because this is a financial commitment. Because if that person is hurting, you got to be there to support them financially. If that person loses their job, what is it that you have to go through? I actually have a Twitter, because I asked this question on Twitter as well, and the answers that I received were pretty much really good, and I really do like all the answers that I got. So one of the questions that they had on here that people had to ask during that process, which is, what happens if someone loses their job? Discuss a prenup agreement. How do you plan on build wealth as a couple? What's the plan for your parents and other family members? How will you save for your kids? Do you need to discuss large purchases and insurance policies? Some people said on here debt. Talk about clothing and restaurant allowances. And then somebody else says saving for a house. Like, these are the questions that you need to talk financially about the person that you plan on to have that long conversation. So I think we cover both of those. What do you think, Lindsay? Well, all of them, really.
And also, yeah, if nothing else, if you find that you are kind of at odds with the person when you try to broach the subject, it's good information to have about whether you want to continue with marrying them.
Right. That is
It's
true.
better to have that before you get married than after.
Yeah. And V, I'm not sure if you're still out there, but I'll say definitely ask about the last name. I like that conversation. That's really fun. Because Lindsay, you didn't take my last name and I didn't take your last name. So, and that's one of the things that
It's not really expected for a man to take his wife's last name.
But it happens. So, that's the thing about personal finance.
But very rarely. Very rarely. And on top of that, like, no one's going to walk up to you and automatically assume that your last name is Smith because you're married. But people come up to me, or have, or they used to, especially when we were newly married, and automatically assumed that my last name was Weaver.
Right. Well, I mean, it is what it is, but it's not. So that's why I like having these open discussions about it. So, V, if definitely you want to have those open discussions, hopefully you're taking some notes. Definitely, if you didn't write any notes, skip to the last end of this episode and make sure that you take some notes and record this. Obviously, this is being recorded, but whatever. This was fun. Baby, is there anything else?
No, but I'm interested to hear V's next question.
Oh, for you guys that are still hanging out with us, are there any questions that you have for my wife while she's here? All right, so Jamal got a question. He was like, hold up. What dude is taking the wife's last name?
See, and look at the surprised emoji face. Like,
yes,
you can't even fathom. But
it happens.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It happens, but it's not seen as abnormal for a woman to completely change her name. And that was my point.
Right.
Like, no one's expecting you to change your name. It's unheard of. Jamal's shocked face says it all. But I got the same kind of shocked faces in real life where people are like, oh, so what's your new last name? Like, it's the same as my old last name. And people literally were like, oh, so his last name is Smith too? No, I just didn't change it. Like, the end. But, yeah, I can't imagine that anybody has any specific questions for me. I'm not that interesting. But I am interested in these questions.
Okay, so V said, if you started
with your partner,
yeah,
and you guys divorce, what happens? Like, if both of you all are co-owners, see that kind of thing. So, full disclosure, I know a little bit about business setup. I'm not going to profess to be an expert, but I know a little bit. I think that kind of thing could go into a post-nut. And I also think it could be in the articles of incorporation of what for business you start. But again, I think that's something that you would have to hammer out before you start the business. But it could be dissolved and sold off. It could be split 50-50, or it could just go to one party. But I think it's really up to both of the people who are in business to make those decisions, either before or during the run of the business.
Right. And since you are a CPA, but obviously you still want to have that conversation first.
Yeah, I was avoiding saying that, but okay, yes.
Yeah.
Daycare.
I'm trying to get a good photo of you, so I'm sure this is not
I
a good photo.
appreciate that you're trying to get. Well, I can't see the live because
okay.
guess I paused it.
It's okay. So Marcus from Debt Free Dad said it depends on the type of business and what each person's role in that business is. That's true.
True.
Yeah. Because if you guys are both co-owners, then yeah. But if you guys are just an owner and employee, two different roles. And I guess if I want to explain this, I think Marcus is a. Are you an accountant, Marcus? Can't remember. But Marcus continued to say a 50-50 split is worthless. Is one person was a face of the business. Oh, if one person was the face of the business. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, you're an attorney. Sweet. All right, financial attorney. Got one in the house. Yeah. So I met Marcus for Debt Free Dad at FinCon. Pretty cool guy. Definitely a guy that you want to follow. And he goes pretty deep into a lot of the conversations that's happening. So definitely check out his podcast and this platform on YouTube. Cool. All right. I think
Marcus, are you local to the DC area?
Yeah, Marcus local.
Well, how local? Because some people be like, "Oh yeah, I live in Howard County." I'm local to DC.
Marcus, I think you're in DC, right? I want to say it's in DC. Wait, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'll get the details. I got his number, so we can and his email, so we can chat later. But yeah, is there any other questions that you guys have for my wife while she's here? All right. No questions coming through. V, you watch my show too much. He asked, "What is your favorite food?"
I could answer that a lot of different ways. My favorite food element is probably cheese, but I don't eat it as much as I used to. My favorite food, or like as far as like a meal that I have been eating a lot, sadly, is this really good. It's not sad, but it sounds sad. It's this really good kale salad that I've been making on repeat. And I do like a good crab cake sandwich.
Yeah, crab cake sandwich. It sounds nice. I can't have it though.
And then, yeah, and anything having to do with potatoes, with the exception possibly of mashed potatoes, but French fries, just baked potatoes. I just like potatoes. So I guess that's another food element.
Potatoes, throw some little garlic in there, salt, pepper. Can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Now, for me, V, when it comes to favorite food, I still have so many foods I want to try. But one of the things is that food-wise, I really do enjoy a carrot dog. Those are good. Homemade French fries, obviously.
I think you just like saying carrot dogs.
Carrot dogs.
Yeah, I think you just like saying it.
Yeah, those are good though. When I make them,
they are good. But
yeah.
Okay, I'm not making them, but yeah, I mean they are good. So like, I didn't think you liked them that much for them to be on your favorite food list.
It's favorite to make. I do enjoy them. Oh, carrot souffle. Yes. I make a mean carrot souffle. I love that. It takes a while to make, but those are really good. Let's see what else I would like.
Dessert.
Yeah, I like dessert. So if you guys out there, if you ever go to a McDonald's, ask them for the caramel frappe. Delicious. If you guys looking for a pastry, and I'm trying to go with the common chains that are out here, go to Starbucks, ask them for the cheese Danish. Make sure they fry that bad boy twice. That joint will have you moist. Okay? So good. Moist.
Ew.
Yeah. That's how good that thing is. It's amazing. So good. Jamal, he asked Anthony how thick with the 2 C's. Do you like your carrot dogs? You got to get the extra girth in there. You got to. It got to be about 4 fingers thickness. Okay. It got to be thick girth. Because if you get the small ones, it's like, what are you eating here? You eating bread? No. You want to have the full carrot dog. Oh man. And let's see. My mom said that's really good. Yes. Oh, and speaking of my mom, she makes an amazing sweet potato pie. So yes, mom's sweet potato pie is so good. Jamal, you said, "Oh my." Yes. I don't have a creepy soundbite here, but yes. Oh my. That's what we're gonna go with. So anyway, I think it's time to wrap this up because I think we went in, we talked about how to get people started, conversations that they need to have, conversations that they need to continue to have, conversations I've had. We had 3 callers come in. We had a saver call in. We had a spender call in. And we had another spender call in, which is great. So now you get to actually get a feel. I mean, we got another saver. Sorry, we had 2 savers and a spender. So make sure that you guys continue to like, share, subscribe to the show. In the coming weeks, I do have I'm gonna do the last Wednesday of each month. We're gonna do a giveaway. I'm actually working with my other affiliates. So if you guys are looking for those laundry sheets that I actually give out, meaning that I wash my clothes with, I love those sheets. I want to give those away. So I talked to my affiliate and they was like, hey, we'll give you 1 extra set of sheets. It's 60 loads on your boy. So make sure y'all stay tuned, stay locked in. I'm going to try to find a way to make sure that we can do this for those of you who can't make the lives to actually be part of the drawing as well. So I'm working on that process so you guys can come through. Baby, if you're still on, thank you. I'll definitely see you soon in a little bit.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're
and
welcome.
Also, the laundry sheets actually do work really well. Just in case anyone was wondering, I do the laundry. So
Yeah, she does do
I have
laundry.
used them. I use the whole pack of them. And they work really well.
Yes. So I'll be
That's
giving
why
those away for the next time around. So I'm waiting for the shipment to come in and it should be here before the end of the month. So we'll have that as a giveaway. All right. I think I'm all good to go. So you guys, please be safe out there. It's been great. V, hopefully we got all your questions answered. Mom, thank you for coming through. Jamal, thank you for coming through. Nia, Marcus, we got Eric in here. Who else we had in here? Philip was in here. Patrice, thank you for coming through. Danielle, thank you for coming through again. Carla, you always thank you. So you guys, all who commented, I greatly appreciate you guys. So I know that you're here. Until next time, be safe. We'll see you here Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. Take care. Peace.